to finish up on the energy discussion, there's one thing that I forgot to mention, which I think is perhaps the most important part. And at the same time, the thing that makes me sad. Humor me, if you believe that there's a dark one up above that can influence and control and affect things, or just the leader of the pyramid, the CEO, the president, whoever. I believe that's 100% true, but it's up to you. I can't force you. Picture this. If its entire goal and purpose is to drain our energy, aka loosh, create those Venus flytraps, Harry Potter, Dementors, something that drains your energy, and if it's created from fear, negative emotions, terrible situations, why wouldn't it just literally mess with the people on top of the food chain to make them start harvesting it for them? For it. Pardon my language. So to make them harvest for the Dark One, you literally can destroy the people at top. Make them... And here's the part that people don't realize. They think it's happening while they're at the company. No. This might be hard for a lot of people to swallow this pill, but this has been going on since the day you were born. This has been going on for centuries, for decades, for millennia. This has been going on since the beginning. There's been a battle between dark and light. And right now, the Dark One is currently in control, but not for long. This is where it changes. This is where its reign, whatever you want to call it, ends once and for all. This is where it begins. Everything is going to change from this moment forward. It is going to be completely sealed, completely contained, completely under control. There's no chance. Once people start awakening to what's going on and realizing that they have a choice to fight back, to say, no more. We're no longer going to be slaves. We're going to be free. We're going to create our promised land. We're going to believe again. We're going to understand that we don't actually have to create energy for them. We need to preserve our energy and create it for everyone. Help each other. So imagine if you were born and they saw potential in you and they realized, maybe because of your parents, that this is a perfect environment to literally create a damaged child. And they're going to try to do this to every single person out there, right? Like, that's the goal. Try to cause as much damage, fear, insecurity, trauma, issues as possible. But what if, literally, just think about a little Mexican kid that grew up in this small neighborhood in Mexico City. His mom, poor. His dad, poor. Maybe didn't come out, quote unquote, by society's standards, handsome. So now he's judged. He's made fun of. Maybe he has a weird tooth, according to his friends. Not him. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with it, but they tell him there's something wrong with his tooth. His dad is an alcoholic because he feels guilty because he can't pay for his kid's life and his wife. So the mom and dad are fighting. The kid has to deal with that. So instead, they just lock themselves in the room and cry. So they're creating fear and insecurity. The dad beats the mom, creating more fear, insecurity, traumas, issues. Now the kid is traumatized and is worried about physical violence. The dad ends up cheating on the wife, or is his wife, and they end up getting divorced. So now the kid doesn't have a fatherly figure. He gets made fun of because the kid gets made fun of because he never had money. They always had broken clothes. And for some reason, wherever they go, when they're at school, when he's walking around, people always are making fun of his tooth constantly. It's like they know that that's what bothered him. They're making fun of his clothes. They're making fun of that he doesn't have a dad. Every single thing that bothers him. He gets bullied in school. He gets actually beat up. Like, it's like, why is he getting beat up? It's like they know that he's afraid of getting beat up because of his dad. Like, you see where I'm going with this? Like, if the Dark One knows, could they create a monster from the beginning? So now this kid grows up. Finally, after college, he's just tired of being an insecure little dude, and just finally decides I'm going to become the best. So he becomes a salesman and joins the company, and he realizes actually he's pretty good at this because he had to learn the skill set to survive, to persuade people, to convince people for his own survivability, right? Like, he was insecure, he was hurt. And now he learns to know how to manipulate people. He learns how to lie. He learns how to backstab. He learns how to play the game. He thinks he's smart, but he learned how to play the Dark One's game. So what do all those things do? Manipulations, lying, backstabbing, all for money, right? Because he needs money because he never had it, so that he can fix his tooth with an aesthetic treatment because, that was his issue. So that he can buy nice clothes because he never had them. He pays for classes to learn how to fight and how to self-defense because he always got beat up. He now has issues with relationships and loyalty because he's a sales guy with money, and he saw his dad always cheating, so now he does the same thing. So he's breaking up families and causing issues. But now he's just desperate to climb the ladder, and he exploits everyone, and he does. And now he becomes a VP of sales, and he creates an environment at this company that literally was all his beliefs. He believes he has to do these things because he was literally built to be that way from day one. He was born into an environment that literally was conducive for that. And then things presented themselves to him to reinforce that daily. Now I ask you, can you picture that scenario? If so, is it really such a stretch to think that there could be things that are actually intentionally doing that from the beginning? And it's not coincidence. It's not an accident. It's planned and calculated. Now, exactly how it goes down, that's a little harder, right? There's leeway there. Like, is he going to actually look left and see that there's a picture of a kid with a weird tooth? He might not. He maybe looked right, but when he looks right, he's going to see a newspaper article talking about a dad cheating on a wife. You see, guys, how easy it could be to literally fabricate a situation, create a devil, create someone who's going to become the slave master, who's going to become the exploiter. And my question then is, if that's the case, did they have a chance? Did they have a choice? We can say that there's free will. Yes, he could look left and see the tooth, or he can look right and see the newspaper. But if both options are terrible, is his only solution to look down? What if you're taught, don't look down, you have to walk, head, chin up, good posture? Is there something to that? Do they want us to see those things? Did they know that the answer is to look down and basically put blinders on? Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Like, is he actually at fault? And no, I'm not defending people who exploit people. Like, I think that we all have a choice and we can all fight to be better. But my point is, if you are literally, from the beginning, reinforced in such a way and raised in an environment that is literally creating that in you, you basically have a 1% chance to defeat it. You can. You absolutely can. It's possible. I don't want This is not telling people that you can't. On the contrary, I want people to believe more than anything. This is the whole point of this, is there's a way around it. There's a way to fight back against it, but you have to realize what's happening. You have to understand that these things are not a conspiracy theory. These things aren't fake. These things aren't a dream. They're happening. And the sooner you open your eyes and realize that it's actually happening, is the sooner you can start defending yourself against it, because it's happening. It's happening everywhere. And I'm going to continue talking about this in detail and point out every single thing that I've seen and every single thing I've experienced. And I'm sure I don't know everything, but that's where I need you guys to talk about what you've experienced. And before, some people might have laughed at you and told you that you're crazy. This is going to be a safe environment. I'm going to be sharing a Discord here soon where we can get together and actually talk about these things and share what people are seeing and experiencing. And it's safe. Like, no one's going to judge you for it. On the contrary, we're trying to figure this out because this needs to end. The dark one, he's going down. It's going down. Whatever you want to call it. But just think about it. You literally create someone to be that exploiter on top of a company so that they get as much energy, as much money. And then now, because they're hurt, and that's all they know, they're going to do that to other people. So literally, they're just constantly creating new things. They basically got forced into it. And the worst part is that those people don't even realize why they are the way they are. I already touched on a little bit of this with what I just talked about, but I want people to get around this concept of you need to accept. And I say need because if you leave it open for interpretation, you will never get there. As long as you leave it open as it's a chance, you never will pass the hump. You have to believe that it's fact. You have to believe that it's a fact so that you can actually start understanding and moving on. Now, believing something's a fact doesn't mean that you operate on that, right? Like, there's so many things that can seep into your mind and you think it's a fact and it's not. So that's what I mean. Don't take it like that, but just, you have to get to the point where you're like, okay, I can operate, basically create a simulation for yourself. Like, can I create an alternate reality where I believe that what he's saying, what Fabian is saying, is true? What the Star Diplomat, I gotta start saying that more often. What the Star Diplomat is saying is true. That literally, could there be a world, a situation where this is real? If you can get to that level, then you can start critically thinking and evaluating things. So, we need to accept that there are things influencing us logically and on a higher spiritual level. Both light and good. So here's why I want you to start considering that.